Ben Vitale,
Present.
Tom Winslow,
Present.
Bob Shay,
Present.
Vic Dan Coleman, Hans Scutcher,
Stay here. Stay here.
Hans,
Oh, there.
Mark Strong,
Here.
Heidi Nightingale, Elaine Daly,
Present.
Amy Sargent,
Here.
Brian Mulgrew,
Here.
John Bananas.
President, please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please stand for more. Thank you, you may be seated. Well, I'd like to thank everyone for being out here this evening. We have the full room, so if you have an open seat next to you, if someone's not seated, please let them know. But I should have everybody here this evening. We will have a public privilege of the floor and public comment this evening. I have a sign sheet for the public comment, so if you do wish to speak publicly and you're not called upon, please raise your hand and we can get to you. We are going to ask that you respect the time to 3 minutes for the public comments, so thank you. We do have a public hearing this evening. We want to speak to the public hearing. The number is 315-294-8051. The local law establishing an animal abuse registry and prohibiting animal ownership by animal abuse offenders within Cayuga County. And the phone number for that, if you wish to call in again, it's 315-294-8051. Do you have anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in regards to the public hearing this evening? If you're here for the animal registry?
No.
Okay, that's the animal registry?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Why don't you come and speak right at the podium if you want? And just state your name and where you're from, please.
My name is Nicholas Lepresi. I am the executive director of the Finger Lakes SPCA of Central New York. Good evening, members of the legislature and members of our community. Thank you for the opportunity to speak in support of the Animal Abuser Registry, a common sense preventative measure that will save lives, strengthen accountability, and reflect our shared values of compassion and safety. Animal cruelty is not an isolated issue. It does not occur in a vacuum. We know from years of research and from the experiences of law enforcement and social service professionals that individuals who harm animals are far more likely to commit violent acts against people, including domestic violence and child abuse. When we address animal cruelty, we are also addressing public safety, family safety, and community well-being. The Animal Abuser Registry gives us an opportunity to break this cycle. By establishing a registry of individuals convicted of animal abuse and restricting their ability to obtain new animals, we take an important step to prevent repeat offenses and protect our most vulnerable beings, both human and animals. Supporting this law means standing up for animals who cannot speak for themselves. It means supporting families who deserve safe, compassionate neighborhoods. And it means showing that our county leads with both heart and responsibility. I urge you to adopt the Animal Abuser Registry and help ensure that our community remains a place where cruelty is not tolerated and where safety for all living beings is a shared priority. Thank you for your time. Good night.
Anyone else for the public hearing on a local law establishing the animal abuse registry? We did have some problems.
We got one.
We got another one.
Oh, go ahead, sir. Sorry about that.
Hi, everyone. My name is Bill Mayer, resident Troop. I'll make this quick, but I think this is a common sense no-brainer. As the owner of 3 adopted animals, something I care strongly about, I assume most people in this room would as well. So let's do the right thing by these animals that can't protect themselves. Do what we can to protect them. Thank you.
Right on.
We did issue 3 proclamations this month. Eli Haggard Cup Day, Mary Jones Day, and Richard Tinian Day. Those were issued earlier in the month. Mr. Carpenter? Yes. You're up, sir. Thank you. Good evening, I'm Tim Carpenter, an engineer with MRB Group, and I have been working on the Cayuga Lake Protection Project. Mr. Chairman, I give you a brief update on the project. As you have a resolution before you tonight to form sewer district. Sewer district number 3 is along Cayuga Lake from the Tompkins County line up to the village of Aurora. It's an area that's been studied for about 20 years and it contains many residences that are pretty tightly packed along the small access road, the Honeckville Road, fire lanes, and other fire lanes and roads that go along that area. Those shoreline sewers, these shoreline sewers have become common in recent years. They've been added in Fairhaven, Springport, Wasco, and many others as people recognize that the safety of our lakes is dependent on keeping the shorelines of them free of potential sewage pollution from the many people that enjoy the lake homes that are there. So in keeping with that, we have advanced the study of this area another step in this past year with the help of the legislature by preparing a map and plan which shows how the district could be located, specifically what properties will be here. It involves many small cottages, floating tanks and small septic systems, and some with larger septic systems along the way. So in recent months, we put that together. And I just want to add that eventually this area will have a sewer system in it. In 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years, at some point, sewers are coming to all of the Finger Lakes so that the protection of this great natural resource will be there. Our project has helped advance that, and whether the district ends up being formed and built in the coming years, eventually it is going to be built, and our work will not have been wasted regardless of what happens. We've advanced the project to district formation. This district can only be formed by the legislature since it straddles 2 different towns. And the town has before you a resolution tonight to form this district and then put it in front of the voters of the district, the qualified voters who are within the district, who will get to decide on whether it should move forward from this point or not. So you'll be voting tonight on district formation with the qualified voters. And I just want to mention that the map and plan lists the proposed cost of the project, a large cost of some $33 million to be split between the various people who will be affected by the project after the grant funding. Our map and plan describes a ceiling rate. Most of us that people would pay a little less than $2,000 per year per home. Just to be clear, the residents will vote on that number to decide if the project makes sense to them at that number. It's not a blank check, and it's not a larger number than that. Map plan and reports are put together so that people can make a decision on whether the project makes sense to them at that price. So that price is in the map and plan and is in the resolution before you tonight. We've held a series of public meetings and the towns affected and have received questions from various residents. We've put up responses to those questions in recent weeks, and a few more questions have come in this week. I'll be responding to those next week as well. Those responses get added to the County Water and Sewers website. Your resolution tonight will authorize the qualified voters within the project to be held sometime in 2026, and it can be arranged by the County Board of Elections. And with me tonight, Carl Reinfleisch, the director of the Cayuga County Water and Sewer Authority. One of the largest questions that came up when we wanted to respond briefly here was whether upgrades at the Village of Aurora wastewater treatment plant, under the cost of those upgrades for the sewage to be treated, should be borne by the project, or whether residents of the Village of Aurora and the village itself should have to pay for the upgrades needed to the wastewater treatment plant in order to handle this sewage. Carl will address that for a moment.
The Village of Aurora's work with authorities for the benefit of this project. In cooperation with the Village of with the village is saving $5-6 million in the cost of a new plant. A new wastewater plant would cost approximately $10 to $12 million. And by using the existing plant, we're saving that about $5 to $6 million of that cost. And also, one of the large long-term benefits of the project is, with working with the village, is that $300,000 to $400,000 a year in cost of maintenance and labor with the water authority building its own plant, staffing a facility on its own. So there's a large savings in the cost of a new plant, large savings in the operational cost. And quite honestly, there was also a question whether it would be viable to build a new plant next to an existing plant that was available. The permitting process would be quite intense. The existing wastewater plant that the village of Aurora is working with us and allowing us to use is a valuable asset. The village plant right now does everything it needs to do for the village. They can go on the way they are without us just fine. We really need them, and they've been very gracious in that. I'd like to kind of lead into what Tim has said. This project happens, whether it happens today or 10 years from now, this project will happen. The village in Fairhaven was a very similar situation. Little Sodas Bay had become very vulnerable to pollution, and the DEC issued a consent order, and it became a project that came from how much to how. And right now, we're very fortunate we have the how. We have the cooperation of the village, and we have the ability to do this project. And once again, I'd like to thank the legislature for their support and their effort.
And in closing, I'd just like to ask the board for your support of the project. Let's put it in the hands of the voters that can decide whether this project should move forward or not. Mr. Chairman, do you have questions or the legislature?
Do any board members have questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to ascertain that the vote tonight is to agree with or not the amendment made to the original resolution, and most importantly, allowing the voters in those localities to have voting say on this.
It's a great question. I think best answered by your attorney if you will answer that.
That's correct. The resolution adopts and restates the prior resolution approving the district, and also indicates that there will be a mandatory referendum sometime before April of 2026.
Thank you.
Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions from legislators?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
This time, we're going to start with privilege of the floor. I just want to state that it's a little bit down on the agenda, but there is committee reports and individual legislative reports. I would encourage everybody to stay, as I know we have members of this board who wish to make comments on some of these following issues. With that said, I believe, Mr. Shea, you have a couple of folks to see.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have two requests tonight. The first is Ms. Leah Whaley.
I'm a little under the weather, so I'll do the best I can to project here. I'm here to talk about proposed county resolution in opposition to excessive and unreasonable immigration enforcement. My name is Lee Whaley, and I come from Auburn. And I want to thank Bob Shea for privilege of the floor tonight. Regardless of our political leanings, I think most of us could agree that the images we see daily on our TV and social media are shocking and brutal. We constantly see people being thrown to the ground, put in chokeholds, shot with rubber bullets, pulled from cars after windows are smashed, and then being disappeared without due process or any of the rights that all people are entitled to under the Constitution. I don't know about you, but there are days that I wake up and question where I'm living. How could this happen in America? This administration told us they were going to go after the worst of the worst, criminals, drug dealers, gang members. I could agree with pursuing those criminals, but I'd still want to see legal warrants and due process. Unfortunately, that's not what is unfolding every day. I see students, domestic workers, farm and factory workers, small business owners, teachers being harassed, beaten, and terrorized, then whisked away without proper warrants and without due process. I grew up in a large city. When I moved to Auburn, I enjoyed a close-knit where I felt safe raising my daughter. The ice raid that happened at Cato Factory in September kind of shattered that feeling of insulation for me. And I realized that no matter where we live, the unjust ways people are being treated by ICE and our present administration requires, no, actually demands us to speak out. No one's safe, it appears, and even less so if you happen to be brown or black. The fact that ICE rounded up people based on racial profiling is unbelievable in 2025. But what happens to these people after ICE has rounded them up is totally unacceptable. These are humans who are supposed to be protected under our Constitution. I've read the proposed county resolution in opposition to excessive and unreasonable immigration enforcement and hope that others will add their names and vote on this resolution to pass it. I believe that this will assure people that here in Cayuga County, we respect the law, we revere the Constitution for all. Here in Cayuga County, we condemn violence and we stand up for our constitutional rights, whether we are Democrats, Republicans, or have no political affiliation at all. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to introduce Tim Quill for his privilege of the floor.
Hi, my name is Tim Quill, and I have been the museum part-time director for the last 17 years. I would like to thank the legislature for the opportunity to speak tonight. In the 17 years that I've been director, I have not once come before the legislature asking for funds. Since being director, the museum has brought in over $850,000 in improvements and enhancements to the museum at no cost to taxpayers. This room that you're in now was paid for not by county money, not by tax money, but by donations, along with many other numerous improvements throughout the museum. The legislature has always been very supportive of the museum. For that, we thank you. Tonight is different. I must fight for fairness and equality in the budget for the museum. I, the museum board, and the museum supporters all understand the financial crisis that the county is in and the difficult decisions that this board needs to make. We're not asking for favors. We're not asking to be treated better than any other county department agency. We're asking for fairness in this budget process. The facts. In this year's budget, there was $14,000 cut in our promotion line, $5,000 in our equipment line, and $36,000 in the aide salary line. That's a 29.56% cut of a requested $183,600, leaving the museum a 2026 budget of $129,336. Please remember that figure, 29.56%. Last year in 2025, the museum had a $17,428.55 cut for a total of $75,800.55 in 2 years. That's over a 40% cut in 2 years. The budget of the museum, that is a tentative budget, is not the budget that I sent to the park director. I only asked for $7,500 in promotion, not 14. Many other lines presented on that budget were also different. The budget I presented to the museum for the museum is totally different than the budget that the county and the county tentative budget. Don't know where the breakdown in the budget process was and why my budget is not the department requested budget, but it's water over the dam. We can accept the $14,000 cut in promotion and the $5,000 cut in equipment. We're asking you to reinstate $18,000 of the $36,000 in salary aids. We will be lost if we cannot have that restored. The museum will be forced to close its doors 2 of the 7 days a week. There are 207 trees in this museum, 150 of them put up by staff, and there's no funds in next year's budget to take them down. So it looks like we'll have Christmas 365 days of the year here in the museum. There is no fund for the budget for the trees in 2026. The Martha Shaw Harvesting History Series in jeopardy. The school program is in jeopardy. Easter egg hunt is in jeopardy, along with the witch hat hunt, the great pumpkin hunt, the Halloween hunt, and Christmas open house. All programs the community expects to happen. The Arc and Mosaic Date programs come in here constantly bringing their clients. And these disabled people love the museum. They love to come here. But when we start cutting days, they're not going to be able to. All the programs cannot take place under the current budget. Let's look a little at the budget. We're not asking more funding or to be treated differently than other departments. We are asking for fairness. The museum is facing over 29.56% cut. Other non-mandated services in the budget. We aren't saying that these non-mandated services don't deserve this money, but we just want some equity. Cornell Cooperative Extension, 11.76% cut. Library, 0% cut. Soil and Water, 4.11% cut. Emerson Park, 11.6% cut. Sterling Nature Center, 4.5% cut. Trail Systems, 12.82% cut. Ag Museum, 29.56%, 40% in 2 years. Where is the equality here? We're not asking for favors. We're not asking to be treated better. We're not asking, but what we are asking for is equality. We will be willing to accept some of the pain, but we don't think we should be the sacrificial lamb in this budget. Please reinstate the $18,000 of the $55,000 cut and save the museum and its programs. The museum promotes tourism and agriculture, the two major economic engines in the county. One last thought I would like to leave you with. Whether you support the museum or not as a legislator, or if it is in your district or not, okay, you should be voting for what is good for this community and what is good for Auburn and Community County, not your own self-belief if you like the museum or you don't like the museum. Okay, the museum's here. It's part of the county. We have a total large attendance yearly. We have a lot of events, and people in this community depend upon this museum, and they love this museum, and we need to have that $18,000 reinstated. We're not asking for 36. We're not asking for 55. We figure if we get 18,000 reinstated, then we could do the work and have the programs that we've had last year. Thank you, and we appreciate your time to listen.
Patricia LeBlanc.
I'm sad to say that.
Good evening. My name is Patty Blanc. I reside in District 8 in the city of Auburn. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight before you regarding the need for a non-cooperation policy between Cayuga County and the Federal Immigration Enforcement Agency. I submitted a letter with a sample posed. Let me just follow my text. I submitted a letter to every legislator yesterday. I apologize for the short notice. I did not understand that you were working on one on your own. But I did send it to everybody's individual email with a copy of my draft resolution that supports my request for Cayuga County to stop using county resources to assist U.S. Customs and Border Protection and Immigration and Customs Enforcement in civil immigration enforcement activities. When county agencies become voluntarily entangled in federal immigration matters, it creates fear and confusion, as many have mentioned over the past few weeks, especially for immigrant families who contribute to our communities, schools, economy, and local life. A resolution limiting such cooperation will protect public safety, preserve county resources, reaffirm constitutional principles, and strengthen community trust. This resolution will not restrict the county from complying with valid judicial warrants or criminal investigations. It will also not interfere with federal agents performing their lawful duties. Rather, it would ensure that the county focuses its own resources on local priorities and on maintaining a community where residents feel safe and respected. I do understand now that you prepared to bring forth a resolution tonight on this matter. I have read your prepared proposed resolution, and while it expresses displeasure at the current federal enforcement actions, I do not believe it goes far enough. We need a non-cooperation policy, and that's what I am seeking. I urge you to strengthen your position and policy on this important matter. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have four requests for privilege of the floor. Mr. Bill Cook, please.
Thank you, Hans. My name is William Cook. I'm a farmer and a resident in the town of Ledyard. I'm here tonight to ask you to all give careful and thoughtful consideration to supporting the resolution that's been prepared that I understand you'll be discussing tonight. Related to the uncalled for raids similar to what happened in Cato in September. I've worked with immigration enforcement authorities in the past on a one-to-one basis. They have been at our farm looking for a specific person. They had a judicial warrant for that person. When I asked them for more details, I generally got an explanation of why they were there, what the warrant was involving, and I was satisfied that it was a legitimate, not that it's up to me, but I was satisfied that they were there looking for a legitimate reason. It's not easy to be in that position as an employer when they show up in 4 SUVs armed and come in looking for a young man who's a good employee, but we went and got him, surrendered that person each time and cooperated. But that's way different than what happened in Cato. That was a blanket raid that swarmed in and took people who were there just earning a good living and doing good, honest work. The raid in Cato took a woman who I've known for 20 years. She's a very good person, regardless of how she entered the country over 2 decades ago. She came here from Honduras to escape the gang violence that she knew would destroy the young son that she and her husband had and the family that they wanted to have. In that area of Honduras, you don't have a choice. If you're growing up a male, you need to, by the time you're 10 or 11, 12 years old, you have to declare allegiance to one gang or another. You don't have an opt-out choice. They didn't want their family raised like that. They had already lost family members to that violence. So she and her husband came here and found work and a community that welcomed them. So she and her husband have worked on our farm. Her husband for the 20 years, she's worked on our farm off and on in between raising children and other employment. She just happened to be at that confectioner factory the day the raid came. She had just started employment there. So she's gone. She has 3 children in the southern Cayuga schools who are now without their mother. Her mother's locked up in a detention center in Louisiana. And until this morning, I was imagining a detention center being somewhat kind of a halfway decent dormitory type facility. But I saw the pictures today and it's a prison. It is in every way a prison. So her hearing has been postponed several times and now is scheduled for mid-January. So this woman who was there doing good, honest work, she and her husband have been paying taxes, living in the community with no issue at all for 20 years, was abruptly taken away 3 months ago. It'll be 4 months that she'll be away from her children at the very best. So I realized we can't fix the broken immigration system from Cayuga County. But I stand here and speak tonight for right and wrong. And I believe we all can stand for right and wrong. The system that we have now is not fair to the employers or to the families that have been living here for years, knowing that they came here without a valid authorization, but seeing no possible way to improve their status. That is not an option today. It hasn't been for a long time President George Bush realized that when he was first elected and tried to reform things, and then
Sir, 20 seconds,
9/11
please.
happened.
Sir, 20 seconds, please.
Okay, what happened in Cato was just plain wrong. I have not heard of anyone taken that could be described as the worst of the worst. And in fact, in my opinion, they took one of the best of the best. So please give this thoughtful, careful consideration tonight. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, I grant privilege of the floor to Mr. Will Terry.
Just want to remind everyone to please keep the comments to 3 minutes. We have a lot of folks here tonight, so I want to make sure everybody has the opportunity to go.
Good evening. I want to say thank you to Heidi for granting me privilege of the floor. The reason for my participation tonight is I want to lend my or support the resolution in opposition to excessive and unreasonable immigration enforcement activities. I support the resolution, but I like Patty LeBlanc, feel that it doesn't go far enough. And I would like to know or share my thoughts with the legislator tonight to support Patty LeBlanc resolution. My name is Will. I'm a resident of Cayuga County and I'm a 20-year Navy veteran. I was sworn an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That oath did not expire when I took the uniform off. And stand here today to ask you to support Patty LeBlanc's resolution of non-cooperation with ICE. We all watched what happened in Cato. ICE told our elected officials and the public that they had a criminal warrant, and then it came out that they were relying on administrative warrant instead. That's not a small misunderstanding. That is a lie. They claimed the raid was about a murder suspect. That was also a lie meant to silence criticism and justify unconstitutional actions. During that raid, workers, some with legal status, were detained without due process. They were denied access to lawyers, phones were taken, people were separated out and targeted based on how they looked and the language they spoke. That runs directly against the 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments rights that every person in this country, every person is supposed to have. When constitutional rights are violated in Cayuga County, that should matter to every one of us. Let me be clear, immigration enforcement is not the responsibility of the Cayuga County Sheriff's Office. And I want to praise Sheriff Shank and his deputy, an official, well-run department that follows the law, respects the Constitution, and serves this community with honor. They deserve our full support. What they do not deserve is to be dragged into ICE operations when that federal agency has shown it will lie, mislead, and disregard the rights of our Constitution, guarantees to everyone on American soil. We, the taxpayers of this county, should not be forced to facilitate illegal or
30
dishonest
seconds,
action
sir.
by any government agency. Our law enforcement officers should never be pressured into becoming accomplices in violations of the Constitution they have sworn to uphold. Supporting Patty LeBlanc's proposal means saying we respect the rule of law, we respect the Constitution, and we will not allow outside federal agents to trample the values that we hold here in Cayuga County. Thank you for my time.
Barbara Bloom.
Some hard people to follow, but I am also speaking about the immigration proposal. I am Barb Blum. I live in Aurora, New York. I am the minister of the United Ministry of Aurora. And I am also a naturalized citizen, as were my parents. We had, as I spoke with legislator Hans Butcher earlier today, when my parents became citizens, they had the money, they had the ability to become citizens. Many people now who are coming to this country to save their lives do not necessarily have the amount of money that it takes to become a citizen in this country. They do not have the time. They do not have the ability to do it. And as a minister, I am called to welcome the strangers in the land, for we too were all once strangers in the land. Jesus was a refugee. Moses was a refugee. Abraham and Sarah were refugees. We need to be welcoming to people who come to this country for their lives, to make a good living here, to thrive, to participate in our economy. I am also the foster parent of 3 Afghan refugees. They are remarkable men. They did come here through a program. They are now citizens. They were honor students at school. They work hard. They're kind. One just graduated from Hobart, summa cum laude. One wants to study international relations. They come here to work. They don't come here to take from us. They come here to work. We need to support them. And Auburn is an amazing community, and I'm a little bit new to it, but I am always so impressed with this is an amazing group of people here right now. We need to support these people who come here to work, and we need to help them find better ways to become legal residents of this country if they are not able to right now. As somebody mentioned, President Bush tried this. President Obama tried this. There was a bipartisan bill last year that was going to make the process easier and make it so that people can be better vetted and then enter this country.
30 seconds, ma'am.
So I really ask the legislators to support this bill, and as some have said, to go a little further, because this is who we are as Americans. This is why I am now an American. I am an American because my parents were able to get us here, and we need more legal ways to get here. In the meantime, we cannot have people being taken in, as Bill was saying, with these people who are taken in Cato and all over this country right now. We cannot allow that to happen. So anyway, as I like to say sometimes, May the 4th be with us.
Ms. Lauren Britton.
Hello, my name is Lauren Witten from Scipio, and I'd like to thank you for letting me speak, and I'm here on behalf of the Ag Museum. As a 4-H'er, the museum has helped our club by letting us do things there, such as holding our meetings and letting us do our community service. There also have been many educational activities there. One particular activity that was held here was the Big Six, where people could watch and learn how to shell. I remember when I was little, and I used to watch my sister shell when I wasn't old enough. But then when I was old enough, I had the opportunity to shell my rabbit twice. 2 other activities that were held here were old-fashioned Halloween and Christmas, where anyone from the community got to eat donuts, have cider, get their faces painted, and make fun crafts while learning about ag, all for free. For old-fashioned Halloweens, kids could go trick-or-treating and carve pumpkins, which would be very nice, especially for larger families with lower budget. The Ag Museum is not only important to me, but the whole community, because it's useful to know about agriculture, especially in cities where there's not as much as there is out in the country. I was not the only person who got to do these things. The best part about the Ag Museum is it's all for free, so anyone is welcome and can come how important agriculture really is. Thank you.
Ms. Sue Secor.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for letting me speak tonight. Thank you, Vince. I live in the town of Scipio, so you know a lot of people here and I live in the area with the farmers and Eddie. I, along with many of us, have been concerned for a while now about the antics and unconstitutional behavior of Federal Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, also, of course, we know as ICE. Most of us have probably watched them on TV or social media. Yes, they have grabbed people off the street, dragged them from their cars, chased them through the farm fields as they worked, kicked in doors of the factories and stores where they are employed. Most of these incidents have occurred in large cities far from here until September 4th, when ICE and others invaded a family-owned business in the small rural town of Cayuga, New York. Aiding ICE were members of both the Border Patrol and Cayuga County Sheriff Department. As they surrounded the building, armed with tear gas, guns, tasers, dogs, and battering rams. They were also armed with an administrative warrant, which I believe is called a Blackie warrant, allowing for, quote, consensual conversation, unquote. They claimed to be searching for violent criminals, but no criminal suspects were ever found. I won't rehash the entire incident as everybody is pretty familiar with it. What happened when they did enter the building, the forcible entry into a woman's bathroom while women were actually in the stalls using the bathroom. The separation of workers by the color of their skin and refusing to let some obtain proof of their citizenship. I watched many of the ICE agents' body cams recently, the footage, and I was dismayed by the sight and sound of groups of them in the hallways and in the warehouse areas, laughing and joking as rooms nearby, people's lives are being torn apart. And their families being torn apart also. Constitutional rights were not followed, such as the Fourth Amendment and the right to due process. It is evident to me that this paramilitary group, ICE, was not focused on keeping Cato and Cayuga County safe from so-called violent criminals. Instead, seems to be a politically and racially motivated gang of thugs whose methodology is not welcome in our beautiful Finger Lakes area. ICE may not respect our Constitution, but our local agencies certainly can and should. To quote Attorney Paul Tuck, 30 seconds, ma'am. Thank you. Who was an attorney for at least one of the detainees. He said, this raid is a prime example of systemic gross negligence in law enforcement's respect of constitutional rights. That is why I'm asking this legislature to pass a resolution in opposition to excessive and unreasonable immigration activities. Thank you.
Mr. Becker doesn't have any more friends with lights. Just in the capital.
Anyone here wishes to speak from the towns of Owasco and Senate? I know I have a Owasco resident here, but if anyone else wishes to speak after, feel free to get up and do so.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for the privilege to speak tonight. My name is Brian Tukey. I live in the Owasco district, and I want to robustly support what my siblings have said about calling for the most ardent non-cooperation resolution that you can find within your hearts to come up with. And I'll just make 2 points on that. One is that as this administration, this federal administration, inches closer and closer to full-blown authoritarianism, fascism, local governments, local communities are going to have decisions to make. What side are we going to be on, right? And I've seen a lot of legislators lose their courage, not necessarily in this room, hopefully not yet, but across this area, and saying, well, we just have to follow the law. Well, as a student of history, there's a lot of people that throughout the ages have said, I'm just following the law, right? Whether it was federal troops displacing indigenous people, whether it was people trying to round up runaway slaves, whether it was Nazis in World War II saying, well, I'm just following the law. At some point, we have to make a decision and say we are going to be complicit with fascism or are we going to take a stand and represent the values that we have in this county? The second thing I want to say is that I would encourage all the legislators to do their democratic responsibility and fully engage their communities on this topic. Investigate what your constituents, how they feel about this. Someone said, well, yeah, in Auburn, they're all going to be anti-ICE, but go out into the country and they're going to be totally for it. I'll push back on that.
Yeah.
I bet you it's something.
In the so-called red areas of the county, these are our neighbors, these are our brethren too. See how the impact it's going to have on the number one, I believe the number one economic driver, which is agriculture in this county. See how those individuals feel about it. So please just do the investigative work, be with your constituents, and I'll echo my brothers and sisters in saying the strongest non-cooperation with this fascist garbage. Please, thank you.
Anyone else from Wasco, Smith?
There's a, would you like? Oh, sure.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and our county legislature. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. My name is Heather Witten, and I'm a dairy farmer. And I lived in Scipio for a little over 15 years, and I now live in Auburn because times changed, right? And I ended up off the farm, but you know what? I still work in agriculture. I work for a company called Dairy One, doing consulting work and lab work so that we can better help farmers in the area like Bill Cook to make management decisions in huge businesses that have a major impact on our area. And I came tonight to talk on behalf of the Ag Museum, and I'm going to do that. But I'm also going to say, I really am, I'm taking some things to heart tonight. And I want to say thank you to all of you guys, because I've spent the better part of 2 decades working with a lot of people that don't look like me. And they are amazing people. They have taken wonderful care of my children. There were 2 situations that I know darn well they either saved my life or saved me from serious harm. And when COVID happened, one of the gentlemen that lived on our farm and worked on our farm and yes, was paying Social Security and was paying federal taxes and was paying state taxes, got sick. And I can't prove that what happened had anything to do with what he looked like. But what I can tell you is when members of my own family that looked more like me went to the hospital, they were treated very differently. They were given different medicines. And that's pretty darn sad in the United States. You know, I got up here and I said, I'm a farmer. I'm actually a 7th generation farmer. Lauren, my daughter, is a 4th generation on her family farm. And it makes me proud of the industry that I am a part of, because we are inclusive. We give parity. If you're willing to work, then you can find a way. And unfortunately, our government is making it very difficult for some people who are willing to work very hard to find a way. And we all take it back, right? Again, agriculture, where are we sitting? We're in an agricultural museum, right? This place is history. It is culture. It was the foundation of the country that we live in. When I had a vision with a couple of other people to create the Big Six, Tim Quill didn't bat an eyelash. Tim Quill found a way for us to do it. And there were hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands over the years that took advantage of that event. My 4-H'ers have always come here for old-fashioned Halloween and the Christmas celebrations. They have spent hours doing community service. We're building leaders through this. And part of what we can do here in Cayuga County is support this agricultural museum in order to give those kids that opportunity, as well as everyone else that lives in this community. Like Tim said, when you're only giving a 4.75% cut to other services and places in our community, but yet you're giving him and the Ag Museum and the agricultural community a 29.56% cut? You're riding the wrong horse, ladies and gentlemen. Again, it has been my pleasure to speak to you guys. Thank you for speaking to my heart tonight. Please hold it in your hearts to reinstate that funding because agriculture is the backbone of our community and our country. And we need to make sure that it is here for all of us, not just those that live here, but visitors, any supporters. It's an education that they really have for free at this place and bring their children as well and be safe.
Any other legislators with the original form? With that, we do have public to be heard. It's not on the agenda. Those are there. Is there any other public to be?
Plus. I will be very brief. Oh, yes, thank you. My name is Kate LeBlanc. I live in District 9. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I just want to echo in support of the resolution that has been courageously brought forth by a few legislators. I just want to thank these specific people for being listed on here and the courage and initiative it took to do this. Elaine Daly, Elaine McNabb Coleman, Brian Muldrow, Heidi Nightingale, Amy Steiner, and Ben Bertali. Thank you for the courage to come forward with this resolution. I would ask that it be beefed up a little bit. Specifically, I have some specific by defining what sound judgment means and what excessive means in the resolution. Those terms can be construed different ways, and I fear will not be defined enough to hold any value. So thank you so much for hearing what I've been asking for 4 meetings now and many others. And I just ask that you be more specific in that. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to be heard this evening? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity to be heard. My name is Shirley Egan. I live in the town of Ledyard. And this sounds like this is agriculture themed evening, and so it should be. I can't do anything more impressive than what the previous speakers have said about protecting the agricultural workforce in our community. But at the same time, I'd like to make sure that we recognize how important this treasure that we're sitting in right now is to us. Passing on our heritage and making its importance be felt. I see senior citizens, and I guess I am now one myself, and children, and the fact that this museum allows my historians group to meet here, that I can bring my grandchildren here. That's a marvelous thing, and this museum should not be allowed to be diminished in any way. I'd also like to put in a plug for 2 other things that I think are vitally important that you don't often get a good chance to measure the effects of, but they're so important to our economy. One is our tourism, which is heavily dependent upon our museums, upon our historians, upon all the historical societies and historical museums that exist around this very long stretch down of town that come here for this kind of stuff, not just to this museum, but to everywhere. So our history is really important. And the third plug I'd really like to make is for preserving the staff of the county planning department. They do so much good, especially in the more spread out communities that don't have their own professional planning staffs. Where we do as well as we can, and if we didn't have their help and advice in doing the things that they do for us, For instance, in my area, in helping to plan so that my community for a historic building could get a downtown revitalization grant. If the county planning department hadn't helped us, that wouldn't be, and this is going to bring a big economic benefit to the town of Ledyard, to the village of Aurora. So please don't cut out the county planning department. We really need those people here too. So go Ag Museum, go tourism, go history, and God bless.
Intern. Intern. No.
My name is Charles Mentor. I've been with the Ag Museum for over 30 years. I started the year after the war died. And we also was this little building out here at the time. We worked hard to get where we are now, and if it hadn't been for Tim, we wouldn't be here. He's helped us board out. I volunteered for years. I have the horses here, and I know we've had problem once, but that's all taken care of. And what I want to say tonight, I hope, Tim, I'm not overstepping, but I know the county owns this building. But if they weren't in here tonight, they would be renting a building somewhere that might cost them $500 or $1,000 to have their meetings in it. That's about all I got to say. Thank you.
Anyone else for public to be heard this evening? No.
Good evening. I think other individuals have already been quite articulate regarding this topic. So I'm going to speak to you as a resident of Venice Center, which many would consider the country. Yes, I should first start by introducing myself. My name is Abby Anderson. I speak to you tonight as a neighbor and as a woman who is genuinely afraid of what I'm seeing in our community, surrounding communities, and our country. The way these ICE raids are carried out doesn't just impact undocumented individuals, it affects the sense of safety for all of us. Seeing unmarked vehicles and masked individuals grabbing people off of the street is frightening. Here's criminal behavior, not transparent law enforcement. When everyday residents can't distinguish between an arrest and an abduction, something is deeply wrong. As a citizen, the absence of clear regulations, reporting requirements, or accountability is terrifying. We expect oversight over other forms of policing. Why is immigration enforcement allowed to operate in the shadows? When agencies use militarized tactics in quiet communities, it conditions us to accept aggression as normal. We're being trained not to react to masked strangers taking human beings away. And that should alarm all of us. These raids create fear that ripples far beyond the individuals targeted. A community living in fear is a less safe community for everyone. As a woman, I am constantly assessing my own safety. Seeing unmarked cars and masked individuals in public spaces erodes my ability to tell what is dangerous and what isn't. I'm asking our elected representatives to step in, provide oversight, and protect the dignity and safety of everyone who lives here. We deserve laws that protect both civil rights and public trust. Thank you for your time.
Anyone else or public to be heard this evening? Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Chris Lehman. I live and work in the town of Fleming, one of the largest farms in the county. I stand with the integration people, but that's not what I'm here for today. I'm here for this building. That's my 4-year-old son sitting over there in the John Deere. I'm sure. He's been doing great. We're not gonna be able to stick around because someone's got to get to bed. But, we've been coming to this museum since he was a couple months old. We come a couple times a month, Saturdays, Sundays. My wife is an educator, so she brings him a lot in the summer. And this is just a great place to be. When we are not in the field, we are here because he loves going down to the tractor room. And when we don't have equipment in the shop and we can't take it there, we are here. We are here for the street. We're here for Halloween. We are here for the Easter egg hunt. We're here for every event since he's been born. And when we talk about cutting funding for this, it's not for adults as much as it is for the 4-year-olds in our community who just love tractors, who love agriculture, and who, since you could talk, has talked about being a farmer. So just please give them the funding for the staff. He doesn't want the marketing, he doesn't want the equipment. He just wants to be able to staff the place so that they can put on all of these great events for the children. It's not the adults coming to Halloween to do the trick or treating. It's the kids. So please, just start a future. So yeah, just give them the money for the gallery.
All right, let's go on. Anyone else with religion for? Let's see.
Hi, my name is Robert Norton, lifelong county resident. I'm from Auburn. And for the past 18 years, I've worked part-time for this county. And judging from my shirt, you can probably tell what I'm up here to support. I already sent an email out to everyone here about the museum. One thing I forgot to mention in that, this past summer, we had a man come for the museum. He represents an international publishing company. They publish books like 1001 Things You Must See While in Paris, France, or London, England. They started in Europe. Within the past 3 years, they've moved to the United States and have started writing books about cities and states here in America. For the first time ever, they've decided to write a book about a region, Finger Lakes region. Well, this gentleman just came through here on a whim. And before he was even halfway through the museum with me, he said, I am including this place in our book. He said, I feel like I'm in the Smithsonian of the Auburn area. He said, you guys have everything. And you have it laid out so well. And it's so informative. And yet now, sounds like we have people that almost want to shutter the place. And we're going to be in the book. That's going to be read by hundreds of people, hopefully, maybe even more. And there won't be a museum to show them. We also, for 3 years, have won a gold medal saying we are the best family attraction in the Finger Lakes. So if this decision to cut the funding from our museum is only supported by a few people, those medals are best in the regions from the citizen. Let me tell you,
the majority does not agree with you. This is a republic, and what the majority says goes. You need to support this museum because that is what the people of this county want. And generally, I'm a very friendly guy. But I will say this too.
20 seconds.
I am a nice guy. Oh, I won't take that long. Before you make this decision, call me anytime. You can get my number from Tim. It was in the email I sent you. Let me take you on a tour of this museum. Let me show you what it has before you make this decision. Do not make it uninformed. All right. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? All right. Thank you. I encourage everybody to stick around for the committee reports and the legislative reports. At this time, let's see, I'm doing a motion. I'm just going to remind everyone of the public hearing. 315-294-8051 to 315-294-8051. Condition speak on the public hearing. A local law establishing an animal abuse registry and prohibiting animal ownership by animal abuse offenders in Cayuga County. Last time, is there anyone here this evening to speak on the animal abuse registry? You guys said I'd like a motion was first and second for minutes of the October 28th, November 5th.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You see the list of appointments and reappointments. I'm going to get a motion in a second to waive the reading of the communications and announcements communications were provided to you both in digital and one. I'll take a motion and second to waive the reading.
Art. Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I didn't see Dr. Durant here, but there's a lot of folks here today.
Yeah, he's not gonna be on.
He's not on, so we'll skip that one, and we'll go to our committee and individual legislative reports. Legislature,
Honorable Chair, I just wanted to note, given comments tonight, that the integrity of leaders will surely be tested. It's the response of those tests, often controversial, often putting one on the side of the unpopular, the place of being a smaller, sometimes disdained voice, which leads one's leadership legacy of courage and integrity. And as we review Ledge 3 later this evening, I hope that that sentiment is understood by the rest of the legislature, my colleagues, and the public.
anyone else? Legislative reports.
I had something written, but I'm inspired just to talk from the heart a little bit. I found out about this action in Cato through another legislator. We were just talking about it. I didn't know anything about it, and I was deeply upset about it. Not in a way where politically, you know, I felt as if that the pain that those families went through weighed on me. And I'll just tell you that I'm gonna give a compliment to Heidi Nightingale. She really spent a lot of time working on this. I was one of the first legislators to say that we need to do something and write this resolution, but Heidi Nightingale, if you guys are supporting this resolution, you should give her a round of applause. She did a lot of work on it. Bill Cook said it all. Bill Cook said it all from a person that comes from an area that works with migrant workers. And I kind of suspected this would happen in Cayuga County. We get to know the people in our county because it's such a small county. We get to work with them. it's easy to look at national news and have an opinion about somebody you don't know or break bread with or work with, but these people, you know, I would expect that most of these citizens would have came from Auburn. And I'm shocked that some of the people that I thought would have supported, you know, the current administration stood up here and made the most impactful words on it. And if you hear the cracking in my voice, because I'm trying to be a tough guy, but this weighed on me. This one weighed on me. And I'm proud to hear everybody stand up as for people that don't look like them, as being the one of the minorities, the first Black legislator, you know, to have people, to know that you have partnerships and friendships with people that are willing to take a microphone for you is huge. So I want to give a round of applause for everybody who spoke today. And I am grateful to sit here and be a part of Cayuga County. So I want to thank you guys for.
Any other legislators? With that, I'll in my report. I have a few things I'd like to cover this evening. First of all, on Monday, which is hard to believe it's all the week's first, Sessler Environmental will begin work regarding contamination in regards to the basement space related to 911 backup area. Removal of our backup and removal of our backup 911. This work does provide a safe decontamination space that does not require any further testing, does not have an expiration date as the timeline of entry. New York State Department of Labor has approved a variance for the entire scope of this project, so we are moving forward on it. During November, department heads participated in a business improvement development workshop. Many positive reviews and further information regarding the outcome from the brought forward to operations in the future. We are currently conducting insurance reviews of all county building and contents, and this is well underway and expects to be completed in the early first quarter of 2026. We continue to move forward with planning on removing items in the county office building. In addition to 911 equipment, planning is underway to remove the remaining copiers and several items of equipment that are essential to meeting department needs. Some of these items or pieces of equipment were including the budget we purchased. We're getting arrangements made to have them removed from the building. This includes construction of decontamination areas on the remaining floors, inspection and testing of the elevator, operational elevators, and this will continue to move us forward as we look to remove other items and serve the test phase for retrieval of larger projects. Also this month, I did meet with fiscal advisors in regards to questions regarding bonding and banning and what that would look like for future projects. A couple of takeaways that I received from them is that we must show progress on fund balance growth. And we must get work on getting into our targeted area. For this year, it's between $18.5 and $24 million in fund balance is what the policy would require. The high tax rate would be actually looked upon as a positive finding. I did not. I found that to be very interesting, as it shows our ability to raise funds and our ability to override the tax cap. And the third thing is continued use of our fund balance to balance the budget would look as a negative and reflect negatively as we go to financing. So just something to keep in mind. With that said, I'd like to remind everybody that a public hearing. Phone number 315-294-8051 if you wish to speak in the public hearing. A local law establishing animal abuse registry and prohibiting animal ownership by animal abuse offenders and within Cayuga County. Anybody here to speak on that? All right, at this time, I'm going to close the public hearing. And with that said, Legislator Dale, Ways and Means.
Chairman, Adam, if I could offer an amendment to the 2026 budget at this time.
I believe we're going to do that at the end.
Do we have to wait till the end?
We're going to wait till the end this evening. Is my is what we decided to do. But if you'd like to make an amendment, we can. Yeah, if you'd like to proceed. We're going to have Ways and Means. We're going to go Ways and Means 1, and then we're going to tack them on at the end. That's what we're planning on doing. To have a discussion.
Well, I'll put a motion on the floor.
Okay. So you have a motion on the floor?
Or to make an amendment to the 2026 budget.
All right, we have a motion to make an amendment to the 2026 budget.
We should know what it is for.
Yeah. All right, very good. Let's have it. No, what would you like to have? What if anybody?
So I would like to make an amendment to the budget, for, the agricultural museum. I feel strongly that this proposal that's put on the floor, with this 2026 tentative budget is pulling the rug out from underneath this museum. I think there are steps that we could implement over periods of time if we would like to see things operate differently here at the museum, but pulling the rug out and just automatically severing their their salary base is, I think, the absolute wrong thing to do. And as someone said, we're riding the wrong horse. I really like that. So my amendment is to, if you need some page number 136 in the book, I'm gonna go with budget line A71111 dash 51002.
Can you repeat that? No, Amy's looking for it in her books.
That's okay. It's on page 536.
Oh, I'm saying, I don't remember the number though. Okay.
The line is A71111 dash 51002. I would like to restore 30,000 to the museum aides part-time salary line. And then I would like to take that 30,000 from the contingency account, which is located on page 6. And that budget line is A10164 dash 54000. And that's on page 6. So I'm asking for part-time salaries to be restored to the amount of $30,000 and that amount to be taken from the contingency account, account on page 6.
Second.
We have a first and a second on the motion. Does everybody understand? Any questions?
The contingency balance is what it's coming.
100,000. Line 5400.
Can you say more about what that's typically used for?
It's used for things that come up during the year that have not been budgeted. Use them.
Motion up for discussion.
Yeah, there's a motion, a second with discussion.
I would ask our budget director if this impacts our bottom line on our current tax cap or fund balance.
No, it does not. You're just increasing one expenditure line and decreasing another one.
It has no effect on our.
We'll just have 30,000 less to spend from in contingency. Was that the total you said?
30,000.
I have a question.
Well, but
I heard, I mean, there was discussion on the floor that the restoration to 18,000 would be workable. We have some real fiscal issues. I'm not sure why the motion is now for 30, but it is. So that's what we'll have to weigh when we go to take the vote.
You could amend it 30 to 18 or conducive support.
I wasn't going to restore anything tonight, but the case was made about the percentage of cuts versus the other cuts around to the other departments. I would consider restoring, no, I won't make the motion because I don't like it coming from contingency either. So.
You know, I have a couple of proposals where could possibly help this cause that are coming up on a resolution today. And that could be sufficient. But I do think we should table this because I wish this is the first I've heard of this, and I don't really understand the contingent balance and how it affects. It doesn't mean I'm not supporting it. I'm saying again, doesn't mean I'm not supporting it, right? But, I just cannot in this climate, make a decision within a minute.
So you make a motion to table it?
I want to make a motion to table it and see if we can, possibly get the
Till the
money
ninth, I mean,
to the 9th.
Do I have a
I'll second that motion.
We have a first and a second on the motion table, discussion on the motion table.
You said you had something that might
Yeah,
impact it,
like,
so, I mean,
there's-
could we talk about it?
There's two, I don't want, I want to follow the order of the chair, but there's two resolutions I'm putting together that could generate money that could possibly help this $18,000
Instead of the
situation instead of the contingency. So I'm just saying if, we could consider that when we have more money to talk about, but it's just really tough to make this decision right now. When first I've heard of it. Doesn't mean, I don't support it, but I would like to make a decision on the 9th.
Mr. Chair, I just want to say the difference between 30,000 and the proposal of 18,000. And the idea that, you haven't had time to consider this. We are out of time. This is the time that we are here together in this room to make these amendments and to be serious about this budget. You can't tell me that whether 1830, this budget is $198 million budget. These cuts that have been proposed in this budget here, that have been given to us by the chair, appear to have some symbolic cuts, meaning we want to hit people across the board and look like we're tightening our belt. And then we're going to saddle our taxpayers with a 12.5% increase. That's uncalled for. Again, we have $198 million operating budget. Doesn't include anything with the buildings or anything at all. This is total just operations. And you're gonna need another week to think about the fact of restoring $30,000 in a budget neutral way. I think that's unnecessary.
Just a direct question to me, and I want to answer it, okay? I want to answer it in time, so everybody. This is the first time I heard about this. If this was your argument, why didn't we hear about this before? We done went through at least 3 dozen special meetings.
I'm not on Ways and Means, so.
I'm not saying that, but this is the first time. These seconds that you've mentioned this.
This is how
How it works.
budget meetings work.
Oh, this is how it works? But that's the first time I've heard it. I'm not saying no. If this was something you could have mentioned at other meetings, I would have had time to process it and I would have been voting yes. I just cannot make a decision within 13 seconds.
Mr. Chairman, I believe there's a motion on the floor. And I don't believe this discussion is pertinent on the floor.
Thank you.
Motion to table on the floor without further discussions. Any of this floor? Yes, Mr. Winslow.
Yes, I believe, with this motion, the thing that we've kind of been guided on with changes is budget neutral, which this sounds like this is budget neutral. In relation and respect to Legislator Muldrow, I don't know what resolutions you're thinking of bringing forward. But I guess if at the time you bring those forward, you could include, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you would, Lynn, if he comes up with a resolution that generates more revenue, could some of that go back to what would be taken out of contingency?
It could be.
Resolution.
And Tom, I appreciate that. Even saying budget neutral, I didn't have time to even process that. So to me, it took me a minute to take everything in, and that's why I wanted to table it. But glad you brought that up. I didn't think about that.
It is hard, to your point, 30,000 in comparison is not a lot, but it's hard to do everything in small. Is there any way to wait till we have all the proposals into just today and then look at, because like you said, it's hard to do it in little slices, but I understand there's a process.
Yeah, we can table this and continue to look at other resolutions.
But also not kicking it to the next meeting. Like, can we come back to it in this meeting?
You can place it on hold, right?
No.
Motion to table.
Have to vote on the
Address that first.
You can't.
I would suggest.
Give them all, yeah.
Okay, I was just curious.
I think we can table it to the next meeting. All right, I'm gonna call the vote. All in favor of tabling? Aye. Aye. Opposed to tabling?
Aye.
Five opposed?
Are you opposed? I voted yes. Okay.
Okay, so where's the six? Okay, who voted yes?
To table it?
Two,
I put the motion up.
3,
Four, yes.
yeah, 5. So 5 is. Who's against it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who just-
You're missing Jonathan.
No.
You're in favor. I'm not voting, okay.
Oh,
We gotta vote.
what a surprise.
Hans abstaining.
Can't abstain.
We gotta vote.
That's an option?
Where's the candy? Where's the candy?
I'm in favor of the resolution. So I'm just
Voting no to
waiting to see what happens, so.
Are you saying you agree with me?
Yeah.
We can all go home now.
Oh, Lord, help us.
That's so great. I love that. I feel.
Motion table is failed. We have a motion second to take $30,000 from contingency account 8106145000 and reassign it to the fireman's and salary line. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm not gonna oppose, but I'm in favor of it. We'll figure out the 30,000.
Do a roll call vote. Yeah, roll call vote. You guys are doing.
Go ahead.
Do a roll call on all of them.
Okay.
Motion, yeah.
Motion is to take out the 30,000.
Okay.
Well, those in
We have
favor?
a discussion before that, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I would like to know if we're gonna take this money out of the contingency fund, what the current balance in the contingency fund is and what.
Budgeted amount is 200. This would leave us with 170.
Thank you.
All right, go ahead.
We don't know.
Okay, those in favor, Ben Vitale,
Yes.
Tom Wenzel,
Aye.
Bob Shay,
No.
Eileen McDevitt Colton,
Yes.
Hans Petrich,
Yes.
Mark Strong,
No.
Heidi Nightingale,
Yes.
Elaine Daly,
No, I'm opposed to taking it from contingency before the budget even starts.
okay, Amy Sargent,
Yes.
Brian Muldrow,
I don't like making decisions like this. I honestly think, let me ask you a question. We could put it back into the contingency limit. We could put it back in.
you can make another motion at any time to change any accounts during the process,
But not after the budget passes.
not after the budget passes. Unless you amend the budget in 2026, I mean,
Right.
always bring resolutions.
No, we
Budget.
amend the budget in 26.
And I wanna do that.
I'm gonna hope that this body is creative, allowing us to put the money back in. And because $200,000 is not a lot of money in this county with the budget we're operating with. These contingent issues, so I'm gonna go ahead and vote, I support the resolution.
Yes.
I'm
4 no's. 7 yeses.
Thank you.
Community.
Thanks, Judy.
All right. Can we wait to do the other ones so we get through the resolutions?
I'll wait.
Razor means one. All right.
Okay. Okay, ways.
I should wait a couple seconds. Ain't nobody really here.
I know.
Okay, all right.
Oh, stick around. It's gonna get more fun. I thought.
Hi, Elena.
The works as we all.
Can I get a hug, Elena?
Our motion.
An air hug?
A wave, a wave?
Yeah. She's gonna acknowledge you, they're over here.
I get one. I don't know. A lot of pressure.
Leaders don't like that, I've noticed.
Oh, no.
Mine don't like that.
There's lots of aspects of that line when I was raised. Yeah.
But tough to eat the hairs. We won't make a decision.
Huh? I guess.
Okay, if we want to go through the Ways and Means resolutions now, we can start with Ways and Means 1. Ways and Means 1, attached to the resolution are the amendments made to the proposed amendments recommended by the Ways and Means Committee. I would like to offer this up. We can separate them out and, see if we get support for each of them. But on Ways and Means, there was a motion made for the Sheriff's Department, and it was basically a housekeeping issue because this is the SRO position that is going to be put, I believe, in the Moravia School District. And this change allows the salary and the revenue to both be included in the tentative budget. There was a second amendment under Department of Social Services whereby there was the ability, conceived for the budget to, without any impact to the tentative budget, they found a way to reinstitute $67,000 in the professional services line. And then after 50% reimbursement, they actually, to achieve this, they increased the salary savings number in the budget because we all know Department of Social Services, in the budget, they have a salary savings to cover the vacancies that occur during the year so that the full amount of salaries aren't taxed. And this increases that line, I believe, by $33,500, bringing it to $333,500. No impact to the tentative budget. The next was the arrangement made by the district attorney to recognize $90-some thousand more of additional revenue that wasn't recognized at the time of the tentative budget, to reduce a grant manager by 50% and to reinstate the ADA position that was taken. There is a little bit of excess money here, so, but it is essentially budget neutral. They'll be giving a little money back to the fund balance. So that is the Sheriff, Department of Social Services, the district attorney. Lastly, there was an ability to recognize $200,000 of additional revenue and to reestate an MEO to their budget. And the excess in revenue will then offset, I believe, the highway fund balance. But all said and done, if these resolutions all pass, there will be a very slight change, a slight reduction in the use of the fund balance by $1,037. And there'll be a slight reduction to the tax levy that was slipped 12.5 and go to 12.39. So I would offer up Ways and Means for a vote tonight. We can separate any of them, or we can just vote on these recommendations as made.
We have a first and second discussion.
I'll move it.
Second.
All right, any discussion on Ways and Means 1? Let's just vote on it as the way it is.
Okay.
All in favor of Ways and Means 1?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, Ways and Means had, besides Ways and Means one, there were a total of 11 resolutions that were brought forward. Most of them, a number of them are continuation of agreements that we have. Some are end of the year kind of housekeeping things. I would make a motion to group WM2 through WM11 and offer them up as a bundle unless anyone wants one of them separated out.
A motion for WM2 to WM11.
I'll move the bundle.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on the bundle of 2 through 11? All in favor of the bundle 2 through 11?
Aye.
Thank you. Just so that you.
Honorable Chair, the Health and Human Services Committee had 7 resolutions, all of which went through the HHS Committee, the Ways and Means Committee. HH8 is full. HH1 is authorization to create and fill. The create is due to the health position. It also is a resolution that brings together 3 different job titles in order to fill a position that's been difficult to fill, and there have been backfills as a result. This is a result of a movement within. This is a 100% funded position, federally funded, and it asked us to look at either hiring a competent professional, a CPA, a nutritionist position, and a supervising nutritionist, all of whom are able to complete the duties that public health director of women, infants, and children, competent professional. This is also a position that was approved in November by the Personnel Committee and a position that is approved in the 2006 proposed budget.
All right, do I have a first and second?
Chairman, I move HH1.
HH1.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Discussion on HH1. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
HH2 is to authorize public health to fill a public health educator or a senior public health educator within the health department. When this was first proposed, it was a director of public health and director of information services. That was denied by personnel and then negotiated to the titles of public health educator or senior public health educator. They went that indeed passed through the Personnel Committee and is in our 2026.
Motion and second for HH.
I'll move 2.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
The HH3 is authorizing the public health director and the legislature to enter into a contract with veterinarian Megan Williams. This is for the specimen preparation services, rabies.
Move it.
Second.
Discussion on HH3. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
HH4 authorizes the legislature to accept $70,000 in CAPTA CARA funding. And what that will allow us to do is work within departments and have a part-time behavioral clinician embedded within the child welfare services from our Cayuga County Mental Health Center.
I'm going first and second.
Move it.
One for a second.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
HH6 authorizes the replacement of computers. It happens to be 10 of aged IT equipment within the Department of Social Services. The total cost of these is just over $10,000. This is something that happens routinely. The IT department does go through and help departments look at aged equipment, and the funds for these, the replacement to these 10 new laptops is included in the 2026 budget and is recommended by our IT director.
Discussion, first and second on HH6.
Move 6.
Discussion on. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And finally, HH7 is amending the mental health 2025 budget to adjust state. You can see there's just over just over $7,000 that was recently brought in specifically for working with families and individuals with disabilities. This would mean increasing the mental health budget to 7,000 plus, and then decreasing to 7,000 plus as we contract with Unity House.
Move it. Second.
First and second discussion on HH7. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Waldron, GO1.
Did we do, Mr. Chairman, excuse me, did we do HH5?
Yeah.
Oh,
5 is for lonely and I think
Thank
that
you.
for 5.
Thanks.
Like to revisit.
HH will allow the Commissioner of Social Services to enter into contract with clinical psychologists for parental and child assessments. These assessments are actually court ordered, and there are 2 clinical psychologists now on the list to do these court ordered assessments.
Can I go first on 5?
I'll move 5.
Second.
Second.
Second, all right. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now, Mr. Waldron.
Okay, I've seen this and I don't know if you commended the legislature. I'm gonna pass this to Amy to pass this around. It's a resolution that we'll probably do at the end. GO1, confirming pay rate for 2025 and beyond election cycle. You want to do your speech?
I know, do you want to bundle them or?
Well, no, I only got 3. So.
All right, so GO1, go ahead first and second. GO1.
I'll move that. Confirming the pay rates for Board of Elections. Is that what you're asking?
That's correct.
Mhm.
Second on those. Second for discussion.
I'll second it.
No discussion on GO1. Discussion. All in favor of GO1?
Aye.
Opposed, GO1.
GO2, authorizing the chairman to renew a contract for the Auction International for 1 year, 2026 to January 26 to December 26 for auction services for surplus assets.
I'll move that.
Second.
Just so you know, we are piggybacking off of Saratoga County bid. All right, any further discussion on GO2? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
GO3, authorizing the chief information officer to purchase computer hardware.
Let me get a first and second.
A second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
GO4 has been added. I think it was tabled on 11/19.
No,
Add.
no.
Oh, 11/19.
Edition.
Sorry, late edition, sorry. Authorizing the Cayuga County Attorney to fill the Chief Assistant County Attorney position within the Cayuga County Attorney's Office.
I'll move 4.
Second.
Second discussion on, not discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, Chair.
Mr.
Okay,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Planning has 5 resolutions, all have been through committee and Ways and Means. Offer them as a bundle if anyone wants them separated.
I'll move the bundle.
Bless you.
Second the bundle.
for the bundle,
I love it.
1 through
5.
5. Any discussion on the bundle? All in favor of the bundle 1 through 5?
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Vitale.
Here, Public Works has 4 resolutions. First 3 went through Ways and Means. They did not go through our Public Works Committee. There was not a quorum. So I would ask for a resolution or a motion for PW 1, 2, and 3. They're all pretty simple. The last one is adding miles to our state plowing contract.
We have a bundle of PW 1, 2, and 3. Can I get a first and second on the bundle?
Nightingale move the bundle.
I'll second.
Any discussion on the bundle 1 through 2 and 3? Without discussion, all in favor of the bundle?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chair, PW 4 was brought before Ways and Means. I think it passed Ways and Means if I'm correct, so I'll make the motion for PW 4.
Can I get a second on PW 4?
Nightingale second.
Discussion on PW 4. Without discussion, all in favor of PW 4?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Mr. Winslow.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Judicial and Public Safety has a total of 3 resolutions that all went through both committees, JP 1, JP 3, and JP 4. Also, in addition, JP 2 was pulled at committee. So I will first offer up JP 1, authorizing the chairperson of the Cayuga County Legislature and the Cayuga County 911 Administrator to accept the SFY 2025 NG 911 grant for the implementation of a new NG 911 telephone system, recorder, and associated connectivity.
Maybe a first and second.
I'll second.
Second. Any discussion on JP 1? All in favor of JP 1?
Aye.
Opposed?
JP 3, authorizing the sale of a 2017 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD crew cab to the Cayuga County Soil and Water Conservation District. And this is coming from the Sheriff's Department.
Move it.
Nightingale second.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And lastly, JP 4, the authorization to fill 1 vacant part-time emergency services dispatcher position due to a resignation. This position falls within the budget and also helps address overtime due to other vacant positions.
I'll move it.
Do I have a second?
Second, Mark.
All right, discussion on JP 4. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Tab 1, designating December 11th, 2025 as the date of the final meeting of the Cayuga County Legislature for fiscal year 2025. Can I get a first and second?
Move it, Mark.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Pledge 2, various board appointments. Can I get a first and second?
Move it, Mark.
Discussion?
As I've been saying month after month, I do think we need a full review of our the population of our boards and agencies. We have a lot of redundancy. There's a lot of, as you can see from people who spoke. There's a lot of people in this community who would like to play an active role in what happens to this county. So I think we need to do a full review, reduce redundancy, and get some new thoughts and ideas on these boards and agencies.
Anyone else? All right, thank you. No other comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
I just want to make it clear that I don't oppose any of those people. It's just the process.
Legislator Nightingale. Would you like to come up, legislator?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Honorable Chair, for allowing me to introduce this. I would like to read this for the members of our audience and for the edification of my colleagues. This is a resolution
Leg 6, immigration enforcement activities, has been co-signed by legislator Elaine Daly, legislator Aileen McNabb-Coleman, legislator Brian McCroll, myself, Heidi Nightingale, legislator Amy Sargent, and legislator Ben Vitale. Whereas the county of Cayuga, like the rest of the state of New York and the United States of America, has benefited throughout the history from the contributions of immigrants who have entered the United States seeking freedom and economic opportunity. And whereas the county of Cayuga recognizes the importance of protecting the constitutional rights of all individuals, regardless of immigration or citizen status. And whereas recent federal immigration enforcement activity has radically departed from the precedent by sweeping up longtime county residents, national security risks, have not committed serious crimes, and have worked hard to contribute to make good lives for themselves and their families. And whereas local communities, families, schools, and employers in Cayuga County have been greatly harmed by the abrupt detention and deportation of valued individual residents. And whereas federal immigration enforcement officials, as well as other law enforcement personnel at all levels, possess the inherent right and duty to exercise prosecutorial discretion when appropriate in the interest of justice. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Cayuga County Legislature expresses its opposition to excessive and unwarranted immigration enforcement activity in the county of Cayuga and calls on all law enforcement personnel to strive continually to exercise sound judgment and humane consideration in setting enforcement policies and allocating the limitations.
I have a first and second.
Move it. Second.
Discussion on leg 3.
I'll second.
Yes, Mr. Bailey.
Yeah, I agree with many people in this room that this resolution doesn't go far enough. But I think it's important that we pass something now. And in the coming months, if this group can agree to make it a stronger statement, then we can always amend this resolution and make it a stronger statement. But I think it's important that we make a statement as soon as possible. You know, my personal experience, this country is built on immigrants. Most of my relatives came here, some legally, some not legally. They weren't treated the way that these folks have been treated lately. And anybody that wants to come to this country should be able to come here and work. And it's how this country can move forward. If we're going to just stagnate with the folks that we have now, we will not see growth. People want to see more manufacturing, more this, more that. We have to have people that are willing to work and work hard. And thank you.
Anyone else? Yes.
I do want to mention in the research that I've done and back and forth with attorneys and other consultants that the Sheriff's Department does have a federal constitutional agency. And it does have prosecutorial discretion. This board cannot control that. What we can control is the purse. And this is a statement that I find to be thoughtful, non-combative, and allows all law enforcement the ability to keep in mind the Fourth Amendment due process, especially as agents of the Constitution. So I understand the concerns of others about wanting it to be stronger. around non-cooperation. But after a lot of research, there's really a wall around that. Our sheriff's department does have prosecutorial discretion. And what we're asking here for is just, as it says, to strive to exercise sound judgment, humane consideration. So the intent of the writing and those I consulted with was to be non-combative, but be clear and allow law enforcement the message that this is what the people want. They want constitutional rights to be upheld. And for those in law enforcement who have the most opportunity on a daily basis in their work to uphold those words, to do that with sound judgment and in a humane way.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, no other comment. All in favor of ledge 3?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please raise your hand.
Aye.
It's the three.
And 4, Mr. Patrice. All right, ledge 4, setting a date for the public
We should
hearing.
tell everybody that the resolution has passed.
It did pass, yeah.
Okay, so the resolution passed.
Thank you. Ledge 4, set the date and time for the tentative, hearing on the tentative county budget. The first and second.
Move it, Mark.
I'll second. Any discussion? All in favor?
When is the date?
That's number 9.
The 9th is the public hearing.
And I need.
This is the last meeting of the year. Yeah, okay.
Ledge 5, fixing the day of the public hearing for the year 2025, a local law opting not to establish a registry system for short-term rentals and requiring taxpayers to provide a certain information on for tax returns. This is just to set the public hearing, not to have the discussion this evening.
I'll move 5.
All right, do I have a second?
Second, Mark.
Discussion.
The point of the public hearing is what date? 9/11?
December 11th.
11th. Okay. Last meeting of the year.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor of ledge 5?
Aye.
Opposed? And finally, ledge 6, resolution to adopt local law for the year 2025, a local law establishing an animal abuser registry and prohibiting animal ownership by animal abuse offenders in the Cayuga County. Can I get first and second?
I'll move it.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to have to offer up an amendment for ledge 6. This deals with page 1 under section 2, the second line under section 2, animal abuse crime. Any of the following crimes listed in subsections A through E. I believe the subsections have to be lettered. And I'm going to, I guess, defer to county attorney for advisement on this.
Mr. Winslow is letter A should be in front of a violation of any of the following provisions. Letter B should be in front of sexual misconduct with an animal in violation. Section C shall be harming a service animal in violation. Section D, killing or injuring an animal in violation. Section E, harming an animal trained to aid a person with disability in violation.
That is correct. And that's the amendment that I'm offering up.
Thank you, sir. I have an amendment. Do I have a first and second on the amendment?
Second.
Any discussion on the amendment? That's a housekeeping matter, by the way. So everybody's in there. If there's no other discussion on the amendment, all in favor on the resolution as amended?
Aye.
All right, now, amendment. Now, can I get a, Gail, you have a first and a second on the local law? Can I get a first and second is on the local law as amended?
So
You did the amendment.
Second.
All right, all in favor of the local law as amended?
Aye.
All right, that passes well. So, before we end for the night, we have several tabled resolutions. Does any member of the legislature wish to untable any of these resolutions?
This one.
There more?
Honorable Chair,
Heidi's got some stuff.
just moving to that section of our.
We have we have 1025 HH6, 1025 HH7, 1025 PO4, 1025 W1, 1025 PW2, 1025 PW3, 1025 Ledge 5.
Honorable Chair, I would like to take off the table HH6, which is authorizing the Commissioner of Social Services to fill 2 human service examiners in the health program. These are positions that have occurred due to vacancies. They were positions that were part of our exemption policy. They are positions that are in the 2026 budgets. They are positions that are reimbursed at a minimum of 60% state federal funding.
Which I don't feel like the bundle 6 and 7, which are budget
Yes.
positions.
Yes, thank you.
So we have a motion for a bundle on 6 and 7. I'll get a
Untable it.
on table. Yep.
I'll move.
Go ahead, second. Oh, I'm sorry, first, second, yes. Any discussion on HH 1025, HH6, and 1025, HH7, Mr. Strong?
And here we,
Yeah. This, yep, to move it off the table. So
it's just to move it off.
just to move it off the table, yeah.
Um,
All right, all in favor of moving off the table?
Aye.
All right, now that we're off the table, I need a person second. Discussion, yes, was vote.
Thank you.
For now, so yeah.
Now, Mr. Strong.
Thank you, sir. My issues is that, you know, we've looked at our budget. We are currently, you know, removing, positions that are funded but not filled. I feel that these 2 positions are going to fall into that category. I know Legislator Nightingale's mentioned that 67% of these budgets are refunded by the state. However, that's you know, an unfilled portion the county bear responsibility for. I don't believe you should be looking at, you know, creating or keeping unfilled positions in the current budget.
I guess what I have to add to HH6 and 7 is being part of the Personnel Committee, I'm witness to the fact that these human services examiners, and there were 4 vacancies for months, and they've only come back asking to fill the 2. They have direct responsibility in the program areas that they work. They have gone without these positions for months. It's been quite a hardship. We tabled them. You know, this and an accountant has left the department. It's a very highly regulated department. They have also waited to fill these positions. They have reduced their budget by 7 jobs from 25 to 26. These are the jobs that are left in the tentative budget and the ones, in my opinion, that need to get filled.
Any other discussion?
I'd like to mention too that these positions were part of a budget discussion with the department. At that time, members of the budget committee, including myself, Ways and Means Chair, the Chair of the Legislature, and the department heads actually struck a deal because of the number of folks they were willing to eliminate in restructuring. And that deal has been tabled after table after table. However, and one of the reasons for this position to have immediately gone into a fill, as explained at that budget meeting, was because there was a need for cross-training and sustainability. That didn't happen, but at the same time, this legislature voted to get an accountant for the treasurer, get an accountant for the finance director immediately so that they would have time for cross-training.
while we tabled and tabled after a promise from our budget director, our chair, our Ways and Means, and the good faith of our department heads.
Any other comments? I did vote no on the treasurer. Any other comments? All right, without any other comments, we have a motion on HH 6 and HH 7. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Beck.
I'd like to take 1025 PW 1, 2, and 3 off the table.
We have a motion to take PW 1025, PW 1, 2, and 3 off the table. Do I have a second?
1, 2, and 3, 3 of them.
Yeah, I have 1, 2, and 3. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, discussion on 1, 2, and 3. All right, without discussion, all in favor of PW 1, 2, and 3?
That's to take it off the table.
Aye.
Any opposed, taking it off the table? Now you have first and a second to bring it forward.
I would also like to make the motion, 1, 2, and 3.
All right, bundle 1, 2, and 3. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, discussion. Without any discussion, all in favor of PW 1, 2, and 3?
Aye.
Any opposed? PW 1025, 1, 2, and 3 are moved. Anyone else like to bring anything off the table this evening?
Mr. Chair, I might like to bring 1025 Ledge 5 off the table.
Okay, 1025, part 5.
Second.
We have a second, that is the establishment amendment and resolution in order to direct the establishment of a Cayuga County Sewer District.
Take it back. You're gonna take it
This is
off.
also a resolution that requires a mandatory referendum.
With the DMV. The retirement.
All right, so first and second to bring it off the table. Any discussion about bringing it off the table? All in favor of bringing it off?
Oh, bring it back.
Aye.
Any opposed to bringing it off the table?
Want to do it now?
Yeah. To fill it.
Shay?
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to also amend that resolution. And I'm asking my,
Yeah, I think we need to make first and second for discussion.
then I'll do that.
I get a second for discussion.
Second.
Go ahead, Mr. Shea.
Now?
Now,
All right. I'm one of the bullpen, that's one, my buddy,
that's all right.
Council Graham, is gonna help me out with this. Sure. We have proposed some minor changes to this resolution. As the referendum, the offer of the Cayuga County Water and Sewer Authority to pay up to $15,000 for the expenditures of the special election. And also, I'm gonna let council speak to anything else.
Sure, couple of things have happened since this resolution was originally tabled. We met with the board of the Water and Sewer Authority. At that meeting, they agreed to reimburse the county for up to $15,000 of the cost of the referendum. They also urged that the date of the referendum be pushed back till April, at least April. They have, one of the grants that they have for that project, it's a $15 million grant, is subject to federal approval. And right now there's some question when the federal government can get to it. Obviously, it's outside of our control. So that's included here in section 4. I've highlighted the amendments. And then the third change was that in the event that between now and the time of the referendum, we find out that the grant has been denied or it's been delayed to some unknown date so far in the future that it's impossible to really plan for the financing of the project, it reserves the right of the legislature to essentially rescind the resolution and direct that the referendum not take place because it would be basically moot at that point.
I'm gonna read the amendments so you can have the verbiage. Page 3, third paragraph, whereas CCSW, CCWSO has agreed to reimburse the county for the cost of conducting the referendum up to $15,000 before being held on November 19, 2025. Page 4 at the bottom, section 4, the Cayuga County Legislature directs that the voting propagation is submitted for the special election to be held on a date determined by the Board of Election no earlier than April of 2026. Section 5, the Cayuga County Legislature further reserves the right to rescind this resolution that the legislature learns a $15 million grant reference above has been denied or that has been delayed to such an extent that the project is no longer financially feasible. In such event, the chair of the legislature is hereby authorized to direct that the referendum be canceled is no longer necessary. Any discussion?
Can I just add, Mr. Chairman, the sewer authority is going after any and all related grants that would help this project. Also, we will continue to diligently answer any and all questions from the residents of the area that have any questions, but coming forward, just send them to us and we will post them on our website.
Thank you, Mr. Shea. Any other comments from members of the board? Yes.
Just a question. Maybe it's good for you to answer. Who is currently the chair of the board?
Well, you're looking at
I
it.
thought maybe, so I just, somebody asked me.
I was there on the wrong day.
Everyone took a giant step back.
Anyone else? Now we go to the questions. We have first and second. No further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
You doing it as amended?
As that was, you said, that's the, I need against. I need a first and second for the as amended.
Yes, sir. Move it.
Second.
Any discussion on the resolution as amended? First and second on the resolution as amended. I'm sorry, all in favor as amended.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Moulton.
I want to bring, Bill 4. Bring that off the table.
I'll move it.
Authorize to fill.
Okay. You got a second? Any discussion on bringing GO4 off the table? All in favor of bringing GO4 off the table?
Aye.
Any opposed? I'm not gonna get a first and a second for GO4.
I'll move it.
All right, got a second.
Second.
Discussion on GO4.
Yeah, this position is, to fill a, one person, cashier due to retirement. And, for the Department of Motor Vehicles.
Any other discussion on GO4? Without further discussion, all in favor of GO4?
Aye.
Any opposed to GO4? GO4 is moved. So now, any other?
Yes, this subject has came up a couple of times about the, motor vehicle tax that I just now circulated. Hopefully everybody had a chance to see. I should have done it at the beginning, but with everything going on, it escaped me. But, it's pretty much the same. We're getting, that our surrounding areas are charging for this vehicle tax, even though, if we have a person traveling, correct me if I'm wrong, to another county, they're not paying for it. It's less than the cumulative number have an impact to our budget. And is for the individual, driver, it's shortly less than, every 2 years, a cup of Starbucks, so I think it's 5 hours. Is that correct, Peter? 5 hours a vehicle, per year? Yeah.
$5 for vehicle.
Yeah, so it's $10. And I think this could be a significant, amount of money for our budget. And I hope the legislature, supports it for a lot of reasons. One is, there's only a couple of ways we can cut a lot of departments, to say that, and we can raise taxes. But this is a significant, it doesn't apply to everybody, it's just vehicle, the people in our other counties are doing it surrounding us, and it's not that, I do appreciate it, but it's $10, every 2 years. So I hope that the legislature will support it.
Move this.
First. Second. This is just to set the public hearing. Public hearing will be on December 11th at 6 p.m. Any other discussion? All in favor of setting a public hearing regarding the fixing date notice of public hearing for establishing a Cayuga County motor vehicle tax pursuant to New York State Section 1202A and 1202B. Discussion, all in favor? Any opposed?
This will be on the 11th as well,
It'll be on for the 11th, correct?
the public hearing.
The public hearing, yes.
What, Mr. Chair, how does that get factored in? Would we add revenue into the budget?
Well, if we pass it, we can have the discussions leading up to the meeting. It's my understanding that when we looked at this before, and again, this is from all the things forward today. When we looked at this before, it would take time for DMV to, state has to accept it and then set the system up so there would not be an immediate revenue stream. This would probably take place sometime in the second half of next year. I was told it could take up to 6 months, potentially longer as they're upgrading the system. So there may or may not be a significant budget impact for 26 regarding these. There could be revenue. I mean, obviously, it had a serious impact for 27, is my understanding.
Do we have some data on the amount of vehicles?
300?
Yes, we do. And DMV has that. And
Okay.
since now this has come forward, we get some numbers and work on the next couple of weeks. I'll work with Peter over at DMV to get some more data for you. So. All right, before we move on from the night, do we have any other legislators that would like to bring forth any resolutions or anything with the budget this evening as far as resolution and amendments? Mr. Vitale.
Yes, I would like to look at the planning department. In the planning department, there was two personnel that were cut. And then in the tentative budget, there's $150,000 for economic development. I don't know how you can do economic development when you're cutting our planning department. So I would like to replace one of those two positions that was cut with the salary, FICA, retirement, health insurance, and dental insurance. It's $91,380. And I would recommend that it would come from the economic development line on page 3, that it is budget neutral. In the economic development line, I think it's very important that we have the money to pay for small business development here in Cayuga County. There will still be enough money in that budget. And lastly, when this legislature comes up with a real good economic development plan, I am certain that we can find the funding to make that happen. So I'm making a motion for planning to get one planner back at $91,380 and the money to come from the economic development line on page 3.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, discussion. So the $150,000 seeks to address two goals. Continued provision of baseline economic development services and setting the foundation for a one-stop model with a clear direction of the county legislature on what that would look like. All of these are contracted services. The county could retain control of the funds and administer reimbursement by the planning department. There's 4 specific funding requests. First is SBDC, which is Small Business Development Council, annual contract. Small Business Development Center. Provides direct support, data, and advisement to entrepreneurs and small business. They enhance services in a one-stop shop and fill the gap in the front condition. Countywide economic development strategy, engage in a consulting and all economic development partners and the partners in assistance is not set up to support, not even consider self support, CCIDA, SBDC, and CSDC. And this is set up to begin a shared customer relation management with software to reinstitute the website, to shut down and see the closed, and the data sharing tools that were mapped and shut down and see that. Professional services allow for legal, underwriting, and other professional services which are required to advance a one-stop model, provide economic development services in the meantime. So that just gives you a little snapshot. And ultimately, it's Cayuga County towards a more efficient long-term solution for countywide economic development and a solution that reduces duplicate, enhances our community's ability to be proactive. That was the basis behind those funds, but that's up to the legislative side. I know it was presented to both caucuses, and you guys have an opportunity to look at it. So, any other discussion? Yes, Mr. Strong.
So the way I take it, the money that you just talked about, going to pay for the plant person?
Yes. The
91,000.
request right now is to take money from that line to pay for the planning position.
No increase to the budget.
No increase in the budget. Any other discussion? All right. Without any further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Opposed?
Okay, roll call. Okay, Ben Vitale,
Aye, yes.
Tom Munzo,
No.
Bob Shay,
No.
Aileen McNabb Coleman,
Yes.
Hans Petcher,
No.
Mark Strong,
No.
Heidi Nightingale,
Yes.
Lane Daly,
No.
Amy Sargent,
Yes.
Brian Muldrow,
No.
Jonathan Anna.
No.
Did not pass.
What was the- what was the-
Oh, 7 to 4.
4 to 7. Anyone else? Yes, there's their name.
I would like to propose that we restore the OFA line that's currently budgeted at part-time to full-time, but that full-time beginning July 1st, 2026. So it would involve full-time salary in line A6, 7, 7, 2, 1, 5, 1, 0, 0, 1 of 52,861. This is on page 193 of your budget book. Would decrease the part-time salary that's there, A6, 7, 7, 2, 1, 5, 1, 0, 0, 2 by 25,340. The amount would include FICA from lines A6, 7, 7, 2, 1, 8, 1, 0, 0, 1 at the amount of $2,014. It would include retirement from lines A, 7, 7, 2, 1, 1, 5, 8, 0, 0, 3 of $10,311. It would include dental from lines A6, 7, 7, 2, 1, 5, 8, 0, 0, 4, $356. The net increase would be $43,903. If the position.
I think the total is 9,280.
No.
She said that the motion is still July 1st, right?
Right.
Yeah, you just, I think, change where you were.
Okay.
Numbers from.
Right, yes, I read the top number. So if the position starts July 6th, then the net increase is 9,300.
Yes.
To bring this full, the net increase is 9,300. Pennies for the 60% of the people who are over 60 and who are homeowners and pay those taxes that we are bringing in. I suggest that the money come out of the economic development line. If that is something that's not tenable to this group, then I would suggest that $9,300 come out of the general fund.
All right. Yep. So which one are we going with? Again, was economic development line, are we going with the fund balance? No, we can have this, if we're ended the second, we can have discussion.
Economic development line.
All right, we have a motion, I need a second.
Second.
All right, discussion. Without further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
There's 6 opposed.
So can we do a roll call?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Ben Vitale,
Yes.
Tom Wenzel,
No.
Bob Shay.
No.
Elaine McDevitt Coleman,
Yes.
Hans Petcher,
No.
Mark Strong,
No.
Heidi Nightingale,
Yes.
Elaine Daly,
No.
Amy Sargent,
Yes.
Brian Muldrow,
Yes.
Jonathan Anna.
No.
6 no.
Anyone else? Yes.
I have another amendment I'd like to bring forward. I'm looking to restore part-time early intervention intake professional. Year to date, this person has only been paid $7,923. I have listened to many of my colleagues over the years talk about how, they're affected by the services the county is providing the public. This is a service that my family was able to be provided. I have 2 sons. Both of my sons went through early intervention. Both made a tremendous difference. My oldest is going off to college next year. Had it not been for early intervention services in this county, it may be a different scenario. Regression is huge. I used to wait for service coordinator and special related services to come to my house. And if something happened, they couldn't make it that week, and I had to wait another week. Regression occurred with my children. This is looking to the future of this county. This is also an example where you spend money upfront on the children of this county and their needs, the less you're going to spend in the future. So I'm looking to restore this position. It can be found on page 166 if you're interested in looking. It was budgeted for this year at 13,000. Again, they have only been paid so far, less than $8,000. And I feel as though this position was created, I believe, around COVID. Maybe Elaine remembers that. I don't remember if you were at that time, but they were having to triage many children in the community. And I've been speaking with the health department, and I do know this is a very important position. So the line that I would like to talk about includes the part-time salary, FICA, and retirement. Again, it's part-time, so there's no other benefits besides FICA and retirement. It's A40451-51002 is the part-time salary line of $12,976. And FICA is $954, and that line is A405-158001. And retirement is $1,745. That line is A40451-58002. That equals the amount of $15,675 that would be budgeted for next year, 26. And I am asking this body to consider taking that also out of contingency. The contingency line is A10164-5401. I would like to remind this body that the contingency line is not the same as the provision for salary adjustment. So when we go and do negotiations with our CSEA, there is 1.1 million in that line for salary adjustments. It's a separate line. Contingency is at $200,000. So just laying that out for you.
Took 30
So
out.
that is my motion.
Second.
How much you taking now, John?
Well, we're down to 170, we took 30 already, this would be additional 15.6. We're 270 right now before we make any more additional. This will put you approximately at 150.
There, we have a motion and a second, so we can have discussion. What I recall about this position is it was 4 years or more ago when the ask was to keep a part-time service coordinator on board because they were trying to hire and orient the 2 full-time service coordinators that they have. And they have certainly already done that. I don't see adding the part-time service coordinator back, curing any list about the waiting list we have for service providers. I'm not in support of this, and I'm not in support of taking it from contingency.
Any other?
I think this is how we got ourselves in this jam, just taking from, I think that, other than raising taxes, we gotta look at other avenues of where money's generated and start taking those lines. You start taking from your savings, which is our fund balance, you start taking from contingency in case something happens. We just took 30,000 today. And we're looking to replace that, and now we're gonna go to 48. Feels like I'm not gonna support this right now.
Any other comments?
I have a question. So that's not a billable, they're not billing for the services, it's completely counted, it's a part-time position, it's completely county funded.
I don't believe they bill for that at all. I think it's.
I think there might be some Medicaid reimbursement for service coordination.
As far as insurance, but not.
No.
I don't have that reimbursement information
My
on hand.
my son had it and it was, not in Cayuga County because he was young at the time. But he did early intervention due to autism. Okay, it does make an impact, but again, I don't believe there was no fee to us, and so
Right.
So there might be reimbursement by next time.
Okay, thank you.
It's a required service. Any other comments?
I just want to also point out, this is $15,000 and this is a position and this is people who are interacting with families in the community. And I respectfully disagree with Mr. Muldrow's comment that this isn't how we got into this mess. This is $15,000. Our operating budgets have exploded in the past 4 years. So I don't think that this is going to break us. I think that we need to fortify early intervention wherever possible.
I just think, again, that's how we got in this position. I think one of the things you have to realize is, it's been obviously a Republican talking point of being fiscally responsible. We have to cut some services. Unfortunately, they're all services that somebody needs. And this service is not actually being cut. We're just losing a part-timer. Is that what it looks like we're losing? So it's just every one of these departments is under extreme distress because of having short staff. I think that I would support this. We could find another avenue to fund it.
Anyone else? No other comment. We're gonna do a roll call vote because that way it's easier for the clerk to recognize who's saying what. So. Yep.
Okay, this is to fund the early intervention part-time positions.
We should go the opposite direction once in a while.
Ben Vitale,
Yes.
Tom Winslow,
No.
Rob Shay,
No.
Eileen McDevitt Coleman,
Yes.
Hans Fletcher,
No.
Mark Strong,
No.
Heidi Nightingale.
Yes, and I'd just like to add that the money we pay now brings money back to this county as effective, efficient, able citizens.
Elaine Daly? No. Amy Sargent?
No.
Brian Mulrow?
No.
Jonathan Anna?
No.
Failed.
I have one more, Mr. Chairman, if you'd like. Okay, it's regarding the GSI position in real property. With the salary and all the benefits, like retirement insurance, it's a total of 78,510. And that can be found on page 19. And how I propose to pay for that would be to add that 78,510 to the sales tax number. And obviously take that and put it, you know, the routine of taking one from one and you have to put in the other account and all that, correct? So it's 78,510. And it would be adding to the sales tax number. And I'll move that.
Right, second.
You mean the tax levy? Is that what you mean, Ben?
No,
Oh.
sales tax.
Oh.
Sales tax.
Oh.
The sales tax would be increased by $157,000. And the distribution of sales tax would also be increased by $78,510.
Okay, just for clarification, in the budget, we have a sales tax number that we're projecting, and this is increasing that sales tax.
Correct. We worked very hard not to try to inflate numbers arbitrarily.
Say those numbers one more time, I'm sorry. No, I didn't. So one more time, what's going on?
It would be a proposal to increase the salary and fringe benefits in the real property department by a total of $78,510. You then have to also increase the sales tax revenue estimate by $157,020. And then could you also have to increase the expenditure of distribution of sales tax by $78,500.
So is the goal to put another person in that department?
To add back the position that was cut.
I agree.
We only have a first, let's have a discussion, let's have a second, so.
Second.
We have a second.
So if it's adding another person back, I think that department is understaffed dramatically, and just having one extra person would make a big difference, so I will support.
Ben, can you share a little bit more how you came to the raising it? Like, do you feel confident in right? Because that's what you're saying, you're.
Raising the sales tax?
Yeah.
Well, because sales tax is always a guess. And the state right now is predicting that we're going to have an increase of 4% in sales tax. I question 4%, but I believe it's going to do better than what we've experienced this last year. And if you look at the latest reports, our sales tax numbers are increasing. There might be a chance that we actually might make the budget this year if we have a good December. And as the chairman just said, they were very conservative with that number.
I said cautious.
So, excuse me, cautious. And 78,000 is not a huge number when you look at the total.
Thank you.
It's not a 78.
I'll tell you something.
No, but that's because we have to give other municipalities some of the.
Got it.
Right.
Mr. Chair.
I have a question too.
The other thing to take consideration is, Jen worked very hard on and was proactive on savings prior to some of the other department heads. So somehow she's already saved money day one. And she would be coming in with a proposal now showing where she's within budget and by doing some creative combiners and positions, I think we'd all be in favor.
So we budgeted the sales tax increase for the 26 budget to be 3.32%.
Higher than
this year, and
we're hoping to make this year, and you budgeted to have 3% higher.
Like Mr. Vitale said, we'll hit this year, and we budgeted like 2% higher next year, which was a number that, may or may not be achievable, but again, it's tends to be listened to with Fed as far as economic slowdown and uptake. Again, that seems to be on par. The number wasn't arbitrary. It was on par with past performance.
I'll also make a comment that these GSI positions, it might be just in real property, but the other departments also benefit from those positions.
Okay, any other discussion? Yes.
I'd just like to say regarding GIS, this kind of specialized work, specialized education, and the experience of the individuals we have in this department are not easily replaced. This is not like, a clerk who can start at a high school level. This is someone with master's level degrees, someone with professional experience, so highly specialized that, to think that we can just take that specialization and disregard it, quite dismissive.
Anyone else? All right, without any further comment, we'll do a roll call vote and then minutes.
Motion to put a position back into real property. Ben Vitale.
Yes.
Don Winslow.
No.
Bob Shay.
No.
Aileen McNabb Coleman.
Yes.
Hans Petcher.
No.
Mark Strong.
No.
Heidi Nightingale.
Yes.
Lane Daly.
No.
Amy Sargent.
Yes.
Brian Muldrow.
Yes.
Jonathan Anna.
No.
Elaine, you were yes, correct? I was a no. You were a no. Okay, gotcha. I was Hans.
Any other amendment?
One, two, three.
We have
6-8, that passed.
No, it didn't.
6 to 8.
6 yays, she said.
I said 6 to 8.
6 yays.
Yeah, then we'd have more people.
I didn't say 6 to 8.
6 to 8 is 14.
Congratulations.
The other people,
6 yays.
Got it now.
there's 11 of us.
I got it now.
Yeah. You want to do it again?
I thought it was read the roll call vote. Okay, I got Ben as a yay. Tom is a no. Bob is a no. Aileen is a yes. Hans is a no. Mark is a no. I put my glasses on. Heidi Nightingale is a yay. Elaine Daly is a no. Amy Sargent is a yes. Brian Muldrow is a yes. And Jonathan Anna, you were, yeah. So that's why I should be go. So we got.
What is the result?
It does not say
Does
for-
not.
5 yays, 6 no's. So it did not pass.
Any other? Anything else? Yes, thanks, Charlie.
Honorable Chair, I'd like to amend the budget by bringing the Youth Bureau Director back from a 0.8 time to whole 1.0 by increasing the salary to $13,915. That would be from the Youth Bureau salary account A731151001, increasing the expenses of FICA A73101580001, and that increases $1,023. And then increasing retirement at $2,920 from the expense line of A711580002. I propose to do this through the cannabis sales tax, which is a revenue account of A101041116 up to 89,300. Then increasing the expenses of $1,094,54,000 to $71,440, which would bring the total of $17,060. That would make that position from 0.8 back to 1. I think the rationale of the cannabis sales tax makes sense for a youth director, makes sense for the DWI director.
I'll second the motion.
A second discussion, any further discussion?
If I could,
Yes.
I just want to add to this. This one's particularly perplexing to me because taking somebody who's carrying out the role of Stop DWI director who hasn't actually been stipended for that position, when we've always provided a stipend in the past. So she's already doing this extra work without a stipend. And then we're going to take her position this year, take it from a full-time to a 0.8, which I think is just like a really terrible message to send to anybody in our workforce. And again, I just want to point out, some of these amendments that have come forward tonight are fractions of salaries that we are dealing with, and these people are doing incredible work for us. So I strongly in favor of this. I wish we could even make it more, but in order to make it equal to what it was before. But I am very pleased, and I do believe that the cannabis sales tax is a new revenue. I'm not really talking about that. Making a projection. Right now, there's 2 places that sell cannabis that are both located within the city. We do share some of that revenue with the city. And they seem to be thriving businesses at the moment. So, I think that we're hopeful. I think that it's a situation to take from those lines. And I like the intent behind it.
I don't, Martha.
Any other discussion? I'm sorry, I'm having a sidebar conversation.
I guess, just for clarity, the way this is going to be paid for is there's a revenue line in the 2026 budget for cannabis sales. We give 75% to the city of Auburn because all of the shops are in the city of Auburn, but this is the line where the county keeps its own portion. Is that?
Yes, so wherever we get sales, the county gets to keep 25%.
And what's in that line right now? Lynn, what's in the line that we're talking about right now?
And have we had a full year?
No.
We have not, we're forecasting, because right now they have on page $180,000.
25%. They get what?
Yes. 5%. $200 million of taxes.
No, it doesn't.
No, I gotta go to the other side.
So right now,
No more
expense is on
testing?
page 7.
The expense or the revenue?
The expense is on page 7, the revenue's on page 1, the anticipated revenue, again, it's anticipated because we've never done hack.
Oh, yeah.
I want to say it's a guess, but it's the actual expenditure is 210 for a potential $70,000, but again.
But of the 280,
Where are we at currently, though? That's what's in the budget, but what have we?
you budgeted for 280,000 in cannabis revenue that we're gonna split.
That answer.
Do you have Munis on one? Yeah, I do.
We've only received, I believe, 2 payments. So it's.
But this motion would change the tentative budget to a different number in revenue.
We'll change the tentative budget at the bottom line, because right now the cannabis offsets the fund balance and the revenue is expenditures, right? That's part of the 620 is the cannabis revenue. So it's really potential, you can get from fund balance essentially.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I guess I'll take a page out of Mr. Strong's question book here as far as, again, just,
83.
is this coming out as budget neutral or no?
No, this would have an impact.
Well, it would be budget.
Well, it's a different assumption.
Budget neutral.
It'll be budget neutral because we're adjusting the sales tax revenue. Okay. So right now, year to date, we've got $83,331 in what we've kept.
And that's probably halfway through the year to,
So no, I'm saying this wrong, so it's not the half thing. So it's 83,000 is what we've spent out so far to the city.
Of what we've gotten, that's their 75%? Is that what you're saying? Mhm.
I got a feeling
This
this
involves,
business is
I
gonna be
mean, you know,
booming.
you can't say at all what this represents for next year. I mean, honestly,
Yeah, that's
tried
gonna go
really hard.
down.
Yeah, I don't think it's
not
going
gonna go
down. Yeah.
It was hard to estimate because not only is it not a full year, but it hasn't a full year with even those two retail stores open, right? One opened later in the year, one opened earlier in the year, so, you know, I think I tried to look at the last quarter. I think both retailers were open. If others open, that's additional revenue to be taken.
Mr. Strong.
It's more of a comment, but I know in the past there've been multiple stores in the city or even, I'll even say the county. And for one reason or another, they've been closed due to illegal sales by the company. I think we're gambling with this money. I mean, it all sounds great as long as nobody or everybody plays by the rules and plays fair. It's been apparent that there's been several cases noted in the news that they have not been playing by the rules and places closed down. If they lose one or two of those stores, that revenue line.
I'm Brittany's here, right? So I'll let Brittany. I'm not an expert in this field by any means, but I'm joking. I think that the 13,
how legit are they?
I think that those are state ran. And I think that's the difference compared to somebody doing that. I don't know, but that's what I read in the paper. So Brittany, what's the likelihood of the state ran ones compared to some of the ones we see in the paper?
So two are licensed, so they have New York State license to allow them to legally sell cannabis. The ones that have been shut down do not have a state license, so you're getting taxed from the two stores that have state licenses.
So we obviously weren't taking taxes on those because they were legally set up.
Presumably, they were not paying taxes, and that's
Okay.
why they were shut down.
Is there a thorough process in getting a state license compared to somebody that says, hey, I want to open up get a DBA down there? I'm
The state
sure
has
there-
the Office of Cannabis Management, and they run all the state licensing.
Are you getting like a
any kind of
alcohol
legal
license?
cannabis sales. So I think the question would be whether you think those stores are gonna stay in the area, not necessarily whether they're gonna pay taxes. They're required to pay taxes if they have the license.
Any other discussion? Now, any further discussion, I guess we'll.
Youth Director from a 0.8 to a 1, Ben Vitale. Kyle Winslow.
Hearing that is probably potentially budget neutral, yes.
Bob Shay,
No.
Deb Coleman,
Yes.
Hans Petcher,
No.
Mark Strong,
No.
Heidi Nightingale,
Yes.
No.
Amy Sargent,
Yes.
Brian Muldrow,
Yes.
Jonathan Anna. No?
Sure, why it passed. Yes.
Yeah, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in favor, that passed.
Right, anyone else?
Sure, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Well,
Oh, I have a question.
Session tonight.
Oh,
so-
we-
I just have a quick question.
Yes.
I know that we took a vote on our last meeting.
Guys are troopers.
For 11th. Is there an, I guess it's, is there, ever had a need to continue having another meeting? We have until what, the 20th?
The 20th.
Okay, so if we had to extend that. Is that possible?
Right, the public hearing on the budget is on the 9th.
Right.
Okay, the vote for the on the budget can either happen on the 9th or the 11th. Okay, if the 9th or the 11th results in challenges, let's say, then it'll be a matter of setting up another meeting prior to the 20th.
I just want.
Does that answer your question?
I just want to ensure that everyone knows that we have that.
Right.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, we have an executive session this evening.
Oh, God.
We're not getting that. Kitchen's closed. We're gonna reschedule. 9 o'clock.
Anybody, first and second?
You're welcome.
Right, Tom.
Can you give me a?
Second, executive session.
Aye.
Fine.
No.